God is talking about the death toll of children. America recently witnessed a death toll that really stung and that struck people. In the end, I think it was 36 or 37 children lost in Kerr County out there from Camp Mystic in Texas because of the sudden flooding of the Guadalupe River that occurred. But this is going to be exponentially higher than that. And God is saying something here that Americans will get to see that judgment for adult sin can fall on the innocent too. So I've always been at pains here to let you know that when you sin, Satan has a direct inroad to your entire house. You don't get to say, I'm sinning and I'm sleeping around, but my baby's not involved in that. You literally don't get to tell Satan, the demonic hordes of hell, injustice, or the spirit of death, how you would like to be judged. And that is something that I've constantly said to people here, that God cannot send someone to pronounce his judgment to the nation, and then the nation says, we don't like your tone, and we don't like these long presentations. Someone told me today that he's a busy man. As much as he likes the videos, he's a busy man. Could I see my way to making them shorter? Then when I say that it's probably 2 raccoons in America and a few people that respect God, then people will say, oh, she's so hyperbolic. The Bible says that when Moses was reading out the book of the law, the people stood from sun up to sundown. It didn't say they stood. He read out this piece of Deuteronomy, and thou shalt not. They stood there while they were told about what it means to have mold and lichen in their houses. It's a curse from God. They stood there. If a man should defile himself, if a man or woman has a discharge and an emission, if your neighbor's ox falls into a hole, if you kill someone, if you put out the eye of your slave, you should let your slave go free for the loss of their eye. Sun up to sundown, the congregation stood, meaning that the children were standing there. As long as you were not toddling, as long as your legs had betrayed you and started working that same weekend, the children stood. And then we contrast here, because the population is not taught. And the people will say, well, I would listen, but it's the tone for me. So God should be enraged at human trafficking, but in a tone that is acceptable. Over and over and over again. You're so angry. You're so angry. You're so angry. It is the rage, hot funneling rage of God that he is for now sending to you through a human vessel that can't touch you. When that rage actually begins to spin vortex clouds coming down to the ground to rip entire hospitals from the ground and send every occupant in them flying into the nearest lake, will you come to me and say that I'm still angry? Will you come to me and say, Celestial, your anger took away the Lake Erie Hospital and everybody, the entire structure landed in the middle of the lake and nobody got out? Will you come back and say, it was my anger that did that? The fury of God is aroused against this nation. The idea that you cannot tolerate the prophecy of God, but precious few. This blog is precious few. There are 260-something thousand people here. We're a nation of 341 million. Am I the only one who is doing the math wrong? Is 260-something thousand 1% of 341 million? Have 1% of Americans gathered here to know what is happening? Have I not always said, until the day that the Lord truly strikes a blow that goes to the heart, the way he struck a blow to Pharaoh's heart and Pharaoh became weakened, he was like, take your animals, take everything and go. When the Lord strikes a blow, then everyone and their grandfather will come here, looking for answers, crawling all over. They will find a video that they have no idea. There's a whole 6-part series to it and immediately begin talking. I don't agree with this. Is this the person who said that the California earthquake, because she got that right, but this one, she's not accurate. Yeah, that's the arc that's coming in my life. To start digging out the shallow holes again, to prepare them that a few drops of rain can fall in the ditches for God to do something with them before he comes and has to judge them to fire. God says, adult sin can fall on children too. The same way King David lost his baby for not adhering to my laws for marriage, this is God talking, is the same way Californians will lose their infants for not adhering to my laws for what makes a woman versus a man. If you cannot tell the difference between man and woman, Yah says you have deteriorated as a society to the point where a judgment will wash you away and you will lose babies as well as grown men. The judgment is to the young and the old. The judgment is to male and to female, even if you cannot tell yourselves apart. The judgment is to rich and poor, and the rich will be scrambling for a way out, even as they get reports how so many of them have died. They will suffer a death toll just like anyone else, And many will feel my fury for the way that they have lived. They are the same as anyone else in my eyes. A man's value with me is different, and I give value to a man by different things. And God is telling me to tell you right now that He sees famous people the same as everybody else.